Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. In this third part of my little series for Platinum Arts Sandbox 2.81, or rather 2.8.1, we're going to go over terrain. So I'm going into Sandbox, and I got my notes next to me this time, so hopefully I don't have to redo it again. So I am pressing F1 and then I'm clicking on editing, and I'm clicking on new map, pressing E to enter edit mode, and pressing back on the back arrow to go up into the air. Remember, I'm with an inverted mouse, so it might be a bit different for you. Okay, so to begin to edit terrain, I believe something you need to be aware about this engine is that I can't remember the name right now. My brain just won't give it to me. But there's a special kind of engine that allows you to create tunnels and caves, and it uses, just like Cube does, little cubes. And this is the only engine, especially for free, that I found that allows you to dig into terrain and make caves and tunnels, and I'm going to demonstrate this and a few other cool things for our terrain video here. This one might be a little longer than the others. So, alright, if you press and hold B, and then mouse wheel up and down, you see up there we got a circle 1, 0, circle 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. I don't know what all these mean, but these are different kinds of brushes that you can select and dig with. For our tutorial, let's try noise. So press H to enter terrain mode. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start digging down into the earth here. But I want to take advantage of the ability to have it dig away from where I am. So I'm going to go to slant here. And now I want to right click right about, I don't know, here. Now I want to go a little further, so maybe right click here. Okay, it's not working quite like I want. So I want to left click and then right click, say here. No, okay, so you got to be on the wall. Okay. So now I want to go at an angle downwards if I can. Oh. Don't forget to press H to enter your mode. Let's try a different brush now. We'll try B, and then we'll try this smooth 7. What does that do? Let's find out. So now I am scrolling the mouse wheel, and all that's doing is nothing. So it must be a smoothing brush, or maybe it only works in a larger area. So let's try a square 3x3. Why not? Okay, so now we're cruising along, and that's looking a little less than natural, so I'm pressing spacebar and I'm pressing left click if I can, and we'll demonstrate what would happen here shortly. Left clicking and right click and H and V, pressing and holding B, scrolling. And now I'm on noise again. Or I was. Okay. Pressing H. or I mean H, spacebar, excuse me, pressing E, and now you can see we have this kind of a cave and tunnel thing that we've started here. You do not know, or maybe you do, if you've tried to look around and look for engines, you don't know how hard this is to be able to find an engine that'll allow you to do this. So that's why I've kind of stuck with the Cube 2 based engines so far. There is a major flaw in the engine, and we'll discuss that in one of the other videos. So let's say I really like this map, something I should have showed you earlier. Well, I'm going to press the tilde key, which is your top right, should be on your, no, the top left of your keyboard. A little squiggly line, it's also called the caret. If I type save, S-A-V-E, map, M-A-P, one word, space, and then whatever name, it'll save into the my stuff directory that I'll show you later. I did this video a couple of times and did it different this time. If you go, however, if you have a folder, like I'll show you again later, probably the next video, in say base, and it's, in my case, it would be this, and I do that. Now I'm giving it part of the path, and when it saves, you'll see that it put it in packages, base, dream, bliss, and that's where my maps are stored. You can go a step further and have each map in its own folder if you wish. And to load a map, you just load tilde key, and then just type in MAP for map space, and then the name of some map, and you got to do the same directory if that's where your maps are located. So if I go to map dream bliss, and now I am in something called Terrain EXP, which I don't know what it is or what's going on. Anyway, I press tilde key and I MAP space, and this is how you save and load your levels. What was the name of that? We'll go over screenshots and everything else later too. Okay, anything else I need to show you about terrain? Oh, if you want to have a really cool trick to keep in mind, here's something I will demonstrate to you. I'm going to left click somewhere and right click somewhere, and I got this little highlighted area, and I'm going to press H to enter terrain mode, and I'm going to press and hold B and select a brush, and I'll just go with this 2-1 circle. I don't know what that is, but now remember that it pulls towards you, so if you're straight above it, now you can get more like towering, you know, proper mountains and things. So I'm now rolling back on the scroll wheel, and I'm trying to reposition myself. And I've created this completely, totally awesome set of mountains. Okay, I said I'd show you a really cool trick. Well, I will. Now, if I can remember how to do this, I think if I right-click up here, yes. Now it's selected the entire box above the area of terrain. And if I press, whoa, hold on to the mouse, Control C, and now I take my grid and I go, say, to 6, and go to any one of these corners, and I'm going to press Control Z. Oh, it didn't work this time. Okay, no, you got to click first. Okay, so I click, left click in the corner, scroll back, press Control Z, and my box that I just had a second ago is still there, and I can now click on the top. So that's another trick to remember. The Control Z, when it undoes, it will leave the box there, and I think you might get the same result. Let me see, with page up and down. Let me see about that though. No. So it only works with Control Z. for undo. Now if I press Control V, I did it in the wrong area, so I'm going to press Control Z. So this one is one that means it maybe... I haven't figured out quite yet where things are determined, how they're determined, where they're going to come in. Give me a minute, I'm going to go over here. I would almost say maybe 4 times, so it might be the equivalent of 4096 in Unreal Tournament. It really does seem a lot bigger area. Okay. Excuse me. You might get a glimmer of an idea of what I'm trying to show you here, but it's not quite working. Oh. You got to be looking towards kind of where it is that you're undoing or redoing, so keep that in mind. That's when you get that selection not in view message. It's not being a turd, it's just saying, hey, you know, I can't see what it is you want me to be doing or something. I don't know exactly what it's saying, but okay. And there you have it. Sorry, it took me a little longer than I expected. You saw that I made myself some tiny little mountains. Well, now I have this huge giant hill that I can climb around on and mess around with. So that's how you can quickly and easily make huge, large mountains and terrain areas for yourself to play around on if you wish to. And I can't take credit for this. I found a video at YouTube. It had no narration. I figured it out on my own. But that's how you can use that scale up and down trick that I hope I showed you in this series. Now that I've redone this a couple of times, I don't remember where I am. So anyway, if I didn't show you, now I showed you. That works with any geometry or terrain. This is terrain right here that we pulled up. This white square, though, just without the green square, as you can tell, not HG. Yeah, the green square is terrain, but the plain white square is geometry. And you can do the same with geometry or terrain. You can copy it at one size and then change the grid, the selector square size here. So if I went down to this, I could make this terrain minuscule as well if I wish to. I could scroll up and press on this and press Control V, and now I get a little teeny tiny mountain. And that works with geometry and it works with terrain, just based on the size of your selection square. So it's a pretty cool little feature to keep in mind. Now if I want to texture this, there's a slight problem. I probably wouldn't have done it this particular way. I would have probably done the texturing before. But see, if I try to select everything here, it's just not going to be real easy. Like if I just want the top of this to be mountains, you see how it's just not going to cooperate. So I'm holding G and making my grid a little larger, and I'm right clicking out here. Yeah, that trick doesn't seem to be working here. It looks like you have to have it selected initially. Let me see if I can get it to work up here on top. Okay, so in this case then, let's say we want to do the entire thing. What we're going to have to do is click on some area on one side, try to find the opposite area, and I screwed up. It jerked on me there and I wasn't able to do what I wanted. I'm right clicking and dragging. And I might be able now to right click on the top of this and get just the top of the terrain. And then maybe I could right click down here and then just get one side. Let's see. Okay. And now if I wanted to texture this, what I would want to do is press Shift plus 0, I believe. And that turns all faces on. So now whatever texture I put on here will be on all of it. And we'll go more into texturing and loading and all models and all that stuff in the next video. But I'm pressing and holding Y and then mouse wheel up or down. And that will allow you to change the... Well, I'm grinding. I'm frozen. That'll allow you to change the terrain. Easier to deal with that, however, when it's smaller, and I do not know how we might get that to come on better. Let's see if it might have something to do with... There's a possibility that how it works with the texturing, we want to go into that more later, but we should know a little bit about it now. It might have something to do with where your orientation of your... Because it's probably projecting the textures onto the surface. So, left click and right click for my area. Got my box up. I right clicked and dragged to bring it up. Okay, now if I do it, it's going to select everything. So I go to Y, and it'll remember your last texture. So, and there we are. How about some grassy hills? Yeah, it does seem to affect a little bit how it's... Yeah, okay, so that's how it's working. So I'm going to have to learn a little more about how to do that. We just got the top of the hills, but you can see that now we have misalignments here. So I'm not entirely sure how to fix that just yet, and I'll have to go over that later after I've learned it. That pretty much covers it for terrain. Let me double check my notes. If you press P, you can get into a paint mode, and there's different kind of paint modes. Oh, press and hold P, I think it is, and scroll. Yeah. No. Just does it on its own. Okay, so just tap P and you'll get inverted fill, off, replace, dig. These are different ways that you can blend textures together or paint a textured surface. So that's the P key. And then press and hold B and use the scrolling mouse to get the mouse wheel to get the different brushes. I don't know what they use the middle mouse button for terrain for at this moment. I think that covers everything that I know so far, but I will be sure to do more as I learn more a little later. Got a bunch of things to teach you and that I've learned and go from there. Okay, so that concludes this video, and we'll see you in the next one. We'll talk a little bit more about custom paths and stuff. Probably a good spot for it.